Coming in at number 5 on our list is Peanut from the Rocks Tigers. We're getting into some pretty elite territory right here. I have Peanut at 6 because I had Gorilla at 5, but you guys both have Peanut at 5. So who wants to take the start?
Do you want to be a bit positive, man? Love it.
This.
No, you know, we got to give room here to each other. We talk a lot, you know, too much even. Now I just wasted also 20 seconds on Peanut. But I think this guy is the best pressure jungler in the world. I think what Peanut can bring to the early game is absolutely insane. Yes, he's still young, you know, he's still fresh, he's still trying a lot of crazy things here and there, and sometimes it does backfire for him. But when you put him on a jungler where he can invade the enemy jungle at like level 3, level 4, and he can put some pressure on the top side with Smep, he is outstanding and no one can actually match him that way. And that is why he's the kind of guy you also need to target in the pick and ban phase. And that's where, you know, you really see that elite status. You target him in the pick and ban phase and he still carries games against you. That's a problem.
The way that he changed jungle and how pathing tempo is so critical now in the jungle, where it was getting a little bit safer, and then Peanut emerges, and if he beats you somewhere on Summoner's Rift, if he beats you there on the map, he does damage immediately, that he is then able to transition into later stages of the game. So I really do think that Peanut, for me, he was like the newest person that changed the way jungling was approached, which is why I have him so high. I think also he is that very rare mix in a jungler of cerebral player and insane mechanical talent, which means that he can play pretty much anything in the jungle.
And I think one thing that impresses me the most about Peanut is the type of control he can exert on the map without warding a whole bunch. Because in the history of junglers, a lot of times, like when you look at Dandy, he had amazing control, but he also had like exceptional vision control. Peanut's a guy who oftentimes will just go challenging smite and just kill the other jungler over and over again, and that's how you get vision control, because you always see the other jungler because Peanut's killing him. Not to mention, he really transitioned the Rocks Tigers and was instrumental in taking them to the next level. He joined the team, they instantly became a better early game team.
They became a great early game team.
And potentially the best early game team at Worlds, and so much of that is because of Peanut's aggressive style.
I actually think Peanut, now we talk a lot about like the LPL players, I think Peanut is like the perfect version of MLXG. He's what MLXG wants to be, the kind of guy who plays around, invading, finding the enemy jungler, putting a lot of pressure, also doing some of the crazy things, you know, level 2 ganks all of a sudden, goes for some very aggressive flashes. MLXG tries to do all of that. Peanut does it way, 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 way better than what he does, and he does it consistently as well, which is the crazy thing about Peanut.
And that's how I was going to say, you know, how Peanut is great, because SOFM, MLXG, all these guys actually emulate his pathing and his style, and they still just can't reach that level of crispness and I guess effectiveness around Summoner's Rift. Even if they do get ahead in the early game, they're not as impactful in the mid game. So it is very.
Now the reason he's
with
not
that
higher,
being said, there is one player who is a higher ranked jungler on this list. So now we need to say, we're going to get to Clear Love in a bit, but why would Peanut not be able to overtake Clear Love is what we have to talk about now.
So my biggest problem with Peanut right now is how he's been performing in finals. In the spring final, he got out-jungled, honestly, by Blank. In the summer final, while it wasn't as bad by any means, I still think Score was a better jungler from KT than he was in that specific series, and I actually think Score is like one of the absolute best junglers in the world as well. But Peanut, once again, lost that fight purely 1v1. So I think when it really matters in the really important finals, that's where Peanut hasn't really shown enough yet, and that's where the experience and legacy of Clear Love bumps him slightly above.
Clear Love's just won so much more.
I'm going to steal your point, which is if in a late game situation you can pick one jungler to make the play, you go towards Clear Love just because of that experience, in my opinion. But it is so hard to argue like dominant jungler in one region versus dominant jungler in another region. You're comparing pretty much like a cerebral jungler to a very aggressive jungler, gank heavy from Clear Love. So there are so many differences but similarities at the same time that this becomes a really
I moved them up
argument.
and down like 5 times, honestly.
Both of these junglers are incredible, but Peanut, the second highest ranked jungler on our list, number 5 overall, and that'll do it for Peanut.